Live on YouTube and Google+, it's Pageant Live. This is the place for glamour and style. Get great pageant tips you won't find anywhere else. Find out what you need to know before your next pageant. Post your questions and comments for our panel during the show. Learn great ideas about all aspects of pageantry. Here we go. Pageant Live starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Pageant Live. I'm Stephanie McGrain, and I am so excited to have my super sisters joining me this evening, straight from America's Super Pageant. So let's begin by meeting them now. And Jenny, let's start with you.
My name is Jenny Flores Johnson, and I am the reigning International Super Ms. 2013, representing the America's Super Ms. Pageant.
Wonderful. So happy to have you, Jenny. And for those followers who have been with Pageant Live for a little while, you may have remembered seeing me wearing the red crown, the International Super Ms. crown. Last June, I traveled to America's Super Pageant to pass along my title, which I did to the brand new International Super Ms. Jenny. So very excited to have her on this evening. Welcome, Jenny.
Thank you, Stephanie. It's great to be with you.
And next, let's meet you, Annie.
Hi, I'm Annie Hudgens, and I am proud to be Florida's Super Queen, and I'm from Tampa, Florida.
Great to have you, Annie. And Beth, let's meet you next.
Hi, everybody. I am Beth Piper. I represent Minnesota as Minnesota's Super Mrs. Age group. I believe it's 30 to 49.
Wonderful to have you, Beth.
Thanks.
And Bethany, let's meet you next.
Hi, my name is Bethany Fracci. I'm from Virginia, represent Virginia as Virginia Super Queen. I'm originally from Florida, but now I live and teach in the great state of Virginia.
Wonderful to have you, Bethany. So happy to have all of my super sisters with me tonight. So, Jenny, let's start with you. Can you tell everyone watching, give us an overview of America's Super Pageant? What do we need to know about this incredible system?
Honestly, it's one of the best systems I've ever been a part of. I've had the opportunity to be a part of several systems, and the America's Super Pageant is by far totally involved with getting the queens involved in their community, and the platform Buckle Up. Obviously here in Utah, where I'm from, Buckle Up Utah is what I represent, and the platform that I had the opportunity of representing this past year. So that's kind of about the pageant system and the great things that they have to offer, and I think everybody who's watching should take the opportunity and participate.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. I think it's an incredible system. I know before I entered America's Super Pageant, I did so much research on all of the different systems out there, and I chose America's Super Pageant. Love the system, love Janet, the director, and it's such a sisterhood, and it was an incredible experience. So I highly recommend everyone to check it out.
Absolutely. And sisterhood, I just want to touch on that. It's more than a sisterhood. It's a lifestyle. Like, we become friends. Bethany and I have met a long time ago. Annie and I, Bethany and I, we've all had the chance to meet, and we'll be able to be friends forever, but the opportunity to be able to gain that camaraderie in such a unique way is just amazing. And it's not just pageant, but I have friends all over the earth because of that.
And Jenny, now I think I'm right, only 70 more days as International Super Ms. Is that correct?
Yes. Unfortunately, yes. Only 70 more days. They will go by before I know it.
Absolutely. Tell us where and when the pageant will be held.
It's going to be held in Hamilton, Montana on June 21st and 22nd. It's that Sunday evening. One thing I love that Janet always does is she makes sure that everyone who wants to come to the pageant can, and she broadcasts it live. So anybody who can't make it to Hamilton can also watch it.
Excellent. Yes, everyone has to tune in and watch. Absolutely. And
Please do.
what is the website? If people want to check that out, what is the website where they can check out the system at?
I believe it's americasuperpageant.com.
Great. So everyone needs to check that out. And also for the viewers who are unfamiliar with the system, can you tell us what are the areas of competition?
Oh, of course. So, of course, my favorite area of competition would be interview. And so interviewing, of course, is a part of every pageant system, and I love interviewing. So that one, then there's the onstage, where you get to share an onstage like response, like basically about your platform. I talked about seatbelt safety and how I was in a car accident and how it almost took my life, and how my father had taught me from a young age to always buckle up because he was a state patrolman. So you definitely want to make sure that when you're talking about that part of your platform that has a big impact. Then also you have evening gown, which everybody loves because you like to see all the pretty shiny dresses. And then, of course, fitness or swimsuit. And you guys have the choice this year. You don't have to be stuck into, oh, I have to wear a swimming suit, or, oh, I have to wear a fitness outfit. You have the choice to do whatever one you feel comfortable in.
Awesome. And how many systems give you the choice to choose whatever you want to wear? How cool is that?
I know, right?
Absolutely. Okay, so ladies, I want to know why you chose to enter America's Super Pageant and what you're doing to promote seatbelt safety. So, International Super Ms. Jenny, let's start with you.
Well, I chose the system because a year prior, I had been in a car accident where it almost took my life. And it was a trying experience, and it was hard, and I wanted to go out there and promote seatbelt safety because a seatbelt saved my life. And there's nothing more important to me at that time in my life than to promote the thing that saved me. Then the reason I joined the system is because that was their platform. That was the main topic of their focus of the system was seatbelt safety, and that was what I was going through at the time.
Oh, excellent. And Jenny, I agree with you. And that was one of the main reasons why I chose America's Super Pageant too, is because I felt so connected to the platform and I felt like I could really educate people about seatbelt safety.
Absolutely.
Well, Annie, what about you?
Well, in 2010, I was involved in a horrible auto accident where I suffered numerous injuries, the most serious traumatic brain injury, and as a result, I now live with seizures and profound hearing loss. A dear friend told me about the America's Super Pageant, and she said, girl, if there was ever a pageant system out there for you, it's this one. It's funny how things happen in life and how you cross paths with certain individuals. I was so moved by what Janet is doing in memory of her daughter. And ironically, my accident happened exactly 2 months to the date of her daughter's accident. And it's an opportunity for me to get out there and do something now with the new lease I have on life. You know, I'll never be that same person I was, you know, prior to 2010, but I like to think I'm a newer and better version of who I used to be. And as a result, on the 3rd year anniversary of my accident, I founded the Miss Buckle Up Princess program, and I go out to schools and churches and civic organizations and community events, and I educate children and their families about the importance of seatbelt safety, and I do that with the help of my puppet. Her name is Becky Buckle Up, and she is Miss Buckle Up Princess, and the kids love it because they connect with her, and we teach them, you know, we share a story and we teach them seatbelt safety songs, and it's very interactive. So it's giving me an opportunity to do something amazing with what I thought was, you know, the end to what I used to know as my life. So that's it.
Well, I love how you ladies are taking something so tragic in your life. So grateful you survived your accident, but you're taking that to help others, educate others, and save the lives of others. And will we get to meet Becky this evening?
Yes, actually, hold on, let me go get her, okay? Hey, Becky, are you ready to come? Yeah? Don't be shy. Okay, guys, this is Miss Becky Buckle Up.
Hey, Becky!
And she is Miss Buckle Up Princess, and we have a great time every time we go out to schools and visit with the kids. So she's sort of like my alter ego. She gets to do things I wouldn't have the guts to do with the kids.
I bet the kids love her.
They do. After every presentation, they give her hugs and high fives, and it's funny because they ask, "Does she talk? Is she real?" Because she's just so animated with them.
And I love Becky's crown too.
She's got her own bling, and she likes to dress up, and she loves wearing her earrings also. So she's got her rhinestone,
Beautiful.
and we got to share her shoes. They're one of a kind.
Oh.
Yeah, so
I want a pair of shoes like that.
So she has a great time with the kids, and even the boys connect with her, and they have a good time. So
I love it. I'm so glad we got to meet Becky.
bye.
Bye, Becky.
Bye-bye.
And Beth, let's move on to you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Beth. This is my first pageant. I chose to do America's Super Pageant for a number of reasons. The first reason was because I was judging the National American Miss Pageants, and I just really decided that I needed to take that a step further and learn more about being in front of the stage versus being behind and judging. So that was the first reason. And the second reason was I really wanted a platform. Most of the pageants that I knew about didn't have a platform, and it was all based around beauty. I didn't want that. I believe beauty is important, both inside and out, but I really wanted something that I could go and talk about. And it occurred to me after talking with a friend of mine about the pageant that my son had been in a horrible, horrible car accident where he had almost passed away. And what I didn't know at the time is that the day that he was in that accident was the day he decided to buckle up, and he hadn't been buckling up prior to that. So my ignorance of just making the assumption that my son was buckling up taught me a lot. And that, learning about America's Super Pageant and learning that it was really important to do that, I decided to join America's Super Pageant and bring that out to the community. I've really learned a lot. I've had a great time, and I really have enjoyed the sisters that I've met. All these fine ladies have just far exceeded my expectations, and I am super excited and scared to take this endeavor on here in the next 70 days.
Well, I'm so happy that you're a part of this amazing system. And you also have an incredible story that you can share with others and say, oh my goodness, look at buckling up. It takes 2 seconds and it can save your life, just like in the case of your son.
Absolutely. And it was funny because he had said to me when after the accident, actually, when I got there, he said, oh my goodness, I would have gone through the window and I've got the marks. He had bruises all up and down his body. I was in shock that he, first of all, walked away, and second of all, that those marks were as prominent as they were. And he said to me, I'm going to be the new spokesperson for wearing seatbelts. And I thought, well, I thought you always wore seatbelts, but this is good. We're going to wear them from now on. So that message in itself was amazing to me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So even if you're making appearances, how awesome to have him right next to you, and he's living proof, that seatbelts save lives.
Exactly. Thanks.
Okay, well, Bethany, let's move on to you next.
Oh, hi. So one of the reasons I started with the America's Super Pageant is that a few years ago, before it started, I was really good friends with Bree Heron, who won her division 2 years ago. And I was there the day that she found out that Alana, Janet's daughter, had passed away. And I kind of went through the process with her of the pageant starting to her competing the first year. And I just learned so much from her about the sisterhood of the pageant and the great cause that the pageant had behind it, and the reason why the pageant really started, which was to get the message out there. You know, I just to me was just that sisterhood of wanting to do a pageant. And you know, at the time I wasn't doing in pageants at all. I wasn't involved in pageants, and I always told Bree, like, if I'm going to do a pageant, my very first pageant will be America's Super Pageant. I'll make that commitment to you. And as time went on, you know, I was like, you know what, maybe this is the year to do it. And I met with Jenny out in Utah when I went to go visit my sister, and she just, I think it was like 3 weeks after she had won the international title, and she didn't have to do it, but she drove an hour to come meet with me and just walk me through the pageant, and she really talked about the sisterhood of the pageant. And so to me, that's what sealed the deal, is that somebody, Jana had somebody that represented the pageant that was willing to do whatever it took to get the word out there, including driving an hour to see somebody who still wasn't sure about doing the pageant. And I think I joined like not even a month later. You know, for me it was, if I was going to do this, I was going to do it, go hard or go home, and I was going to get the word out there. And so one of the things that I like to do is I like to speak to parents and really talk about the role they have in their child's life. You know, they, as parents, they buckle up their children when they're in the car seat. But as those kids get older, if they're not setting that role model and they're not making sure their child's buckling up every single time they get in the car, then how can we expect teenagers to do the same thing if they haven't been taught it? And so I speak with teenagers, I speak with parents, a lot of parents, and they'll even tell me, you know, no, I don't wear my seatbelt anymore. And I'm like, well, then how can you expect your kid to wear their seatbelt? And your child is only 2, 3, 4 years away from driving, and they're going to be driving as a teenager. So I really want to get the message out there to parents that they're the first step. You know, they are the first step to teaching their child the proper way of driving a car. You can take driver's ed classes, you can do whatever you want, but if a parent doesn't teach them right the first time, then they're not going to get the message across. And so that's one of the reasons why I love the America's Super Pageant. It's given me that platform to really reach out to parents, children as well, but definitely making sure the parents know that they have to start it young.
Bethany, I agree 100%. I remember when my kids were little, they didn't put their seatbelts on, and so I was driving down the road and I noticed that, and I slammed on the brakes, and my youngest, actually the one that was in the car accident, landed in the front seat. And I did it safely. I have to preface that. And I just assumed that he, after that incident, you know, it was a number of years later, but I assumed that he would have continued on. I mean, I was pretty diligent. Well, I was very diligent about that. But when they get to that teenage year, I'm telling you, there's just that fine line. You would have thought he would have learned at that early age, and you just lose control of your child when they turn 16. They like turn into a different person. So I think being that role model is critical for them, regardless if Jason put his seatbelt on or not. But that was a great message.
Completely agree. And you ladies are doing such important work, educating others, saving lives. So I applaud everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
And I know in addition to making those appearances and working with others, you are getting ready to compete soon, about 70 days. So I think you ladies have some questions for Jenny, International Super Ms. So let's start with you, Annie. What is your question for Jenny?
Well, Jenny and I know each other through pageantry, and yes, it's actually been several years for me since I've competed, and what I'm looking forward to the most about America's Super Pageant is that stage, but at the same time, I'm scared of that huge stage. So what did it feel like, and any suggestions on how to survive that long walk across that stage in all areas of competition?
Well, first off, don't be scared. I think that when you can take control of your fear and turn it into like a real desire to succeed, you will be an outstanding representative for your state, and you will gain the title that you deserve. The judges will see your confidence as you own the stage. My one recommendation on a stage that large is make sure you utilize the whole thing. Don't stop halfway thinking, oh, I'm just going to stop because I'm nervous. Make sure you use the whole stage, because the judges will look for that. They'll make sure you're utilizing the whole thing.
Okay. With that said, from last year's experience and competition, are you limited to the amount of time that you're on stage, like let's say in athletic wear or evening gown? Because I know that the on-stage platform presentation is timed, but what about everything else?
It's not timed, but you do have a chance to walk through it, and the director, Janet, or myself or one of the other queens will always be able to answer any questions you have, give you advice, say speed up, slow down, just to kind of help you get in the rhythm. There's also music that helps you kind of walk through it, that's going to help you along with that path as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And Beth, what about you? What is your question for Jenny?
Oh, I could sit down and chat with Jenny for hours because my mind is crazy. But right now, the process that I'm at right now is around makeup, hair, and jewelry. So, Jenny, my question for you is around what's your recommendation for how much jewelry should we be wearing or not wearing when we're on the stage? And my other question around that is, how much makeup? Do you hire somebody to do makeup? Do you do it yourself? And, oh, that scares me.
Okay, well, I always do my own hair and makeup, but that's kind of my thing. I love hair and makeup. But if you're nervous about it, there is an option to bring a hair and makeup person with you, or Janet does have availabilities for a hair and makeup person there. It's going to be up to you. Now, regarding like what to wear, jewelry, accessories, and all that kind of stuff, I like to keep it simple. One thing I told Bethany the first time I met her was, if they don't see the person they see on the picture, they're not going to recognize you. So try and keep it simple by making sure you're consistent. Keeping the same hair color that your picture had is a big deal. Also, making sure that you're not overdoing. If you have really long earrings that come to your shoulders and then have a really big necklace, it's going to be overwhelming. So just make sure you're using your best judgment. If you ever have any questions, you can always ask me or any of the other reigning queens. And Janet is super, super friendly. She's willing to help you in every way possible. So you can ask her or any of us, as I said.
Perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And Bethany, what about you?
At this time, I think my main concern is interview. Making sure I have the perfect outfit for interview. I have a couple of choices, but I'm still kind of trying to narrow it down. And so, never having done an interview before, since this is my first live pageant, it would be more along what would be an ideal interview outfit? Is it dress these days? Is it a pantsuit? Is it a skirt? Heels, flats? That kind of area.
My honest opinion is what makes you feel comfortable. You're going to interview best as you yourself in an outfit that makes you feel amazing. So no matter if it's a pantsuit, a dress, a suit, or whatever it is, whatever makes you feel like you're empowered and that you're in charge, that's going to make you be a better interviewer. No matter whether you think it's pants or a skirt and a jacket or a dress, high heels or flats, it's going to be completely contingent on how you feel in that outfit.
That sounds true.
Awesome questions, ladies. And now, before we wrap up, Jenny, do you have any other tips or advice for the ladies?
I sure do. My tip to all of the ladies competing this year is, when you are in interview, that's my favorite part, is when you're in an interview, be a genuine person. Be you. Make sure you're expressing how you truly feel. Anyone can quote statistics. Anyone can quote how many accidents were done this year on their highways. Only you can share your personal story. Only you can make other people feel an emotion attached to that story. So what I'm trying to say is make it personal. Make it that something that no one else can share but you.
Wonderful tip. Love it. So excited for all of you fabulous super ladies. And I'm sad to say that we are already nearing the end of the show. So I'd like to give you each a moment to wrap up before we leave. So Jenny, let's start with you.
I want to invite everybody out to the International Super Pageant coming this June 21st and 22nd. It's going to be an amazing experience. If you haven't been to the pageant, you are missing out because it is amazing. And always remember to buckle up no matter the distance.
That's right, absolutely. Oh, and Jenny, before we go, can I ask you about the Hope Princess?
Oh, yes. I'm glad you asked, Stephanie. We are running, this is something that they've done every year. It's a nomination for the America Super Pageant Hope Princess. And so basically what we're asking is for you to nominate someone by submitting an email and answering a few questions. And the questions are, is this person you are nominating facing extra special obstacles in life that would limit them from typical pageant systems? The second question is the age of the nominee. Is the nominee's family financially able to afford the travel and lodging to attend the American Super Pageant on June 22nd? And we would love to have her there during the whole day leading up to the pageant and all of the pageant activities. She's invited to participate. They want to know if she could actually be in attendance. And then they want to know, how did you hear about the America Super Pageant Hope Princess, as well as if she was crowned this year's princess, how that could improve or give her joy in the nominee's life. So they're asking that if you do have a nominee to please email americaSuperHopePrincess@outlook.com.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us. So viewers, if you have someone in mind, be sure to send an email, send their information along to Janet, and get them signed up for America's Super Pageant. And Beth, let's move on to you.
Again, I'm Beth Piper. I'm Minnesota's Super Mrs. And I just want to thank you, Stephanie, for having us on today. It was a super fun time. I continue to do appearances. I will be at the Cannon Falls Fun Fest the 1st of May, so if you guys are in Minnesota, I'd love to see you. And most importantly, please buckle up. Minnesota this month, on top of buckling up, is Distracted Driver Month. So we're really cracking down on texting and driving. So really important to make sure that you guys stay safe on the highway. And come see me in Montana. And my nervousness hopefully will be gone by then.
That's right. It will be. Woohoo, Beth. Thank you, Beth.
Thanks.
And Annie, let's move to you next.
Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for having me tonight and my super sisters. I look forward to going to Montana, discovering Montana. I've never been there, and proudly representing my Sunshine State as Florida's Super Queen, and introducing everyone to the Miss Buckle Up Princess program. I'm booked solid through for the next 70 days, but I think that's going to help me keep my mind off of all the things that, all the nerves that are getting the best of me right now. My message to everyone is a seatbelt saved my life. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that seatbelt. And just remember, your small children, make sure that they're in a car seat, a booster seat, that your teenagers and everyone in that vehicle buckles up every time. It takes 2 seconds, and it will save your life.
Absolutely. That's right. Buckle up. And thank you, Annie and Becky.
Thank you.
And Bethany, let's move to you next.
Yes. So once again, I'm Bethany Fracci, Virginia Super Queen. I want to also thank Stephanie, not only for today, organizing today, but also in the beginning, along with Jenny. She did take time to answer questions for me to decide if this was the right pageant system. And, you know, as a fellow teacher, she definitely showed me that you can be a teacher and do the pageant at the same time. Teachers. So to that is, you know, just, you know, once again, it's an example of sisterhood and how Janet's Queens really go out and take the time to show others, you know, why this pageant is so important. I just want to take a moment to remind parents that are watching, kids that are watching, that you set an example. If as a teenager you're the first one in your car to buckle up, the likelihood that everybody else buckles up is doubled. If you get in the car and you demand that everybody wears your seatbelt, you're saving everybody's life that's in the car with you. If you have a young child, make sure they're sitting in the back seat. I see all too many at my school kids riding in the front seat and they're not at the age or weight limit, and that really worries me. And unfortunately, that's the parents not setting that example that that's important. So just take a moment, slow down, learn the laws, and follow them, because in the end, you're going to be saving lives, not only immediately, but in generations to come as you pass along that, the importance of wearing a seatbelt.
Absolutely, and thank you, Bethany, for joining us. That's right, everyone. Be sure to buckle up every time you are in the car. Make sure your passengers are buckled up as well. Ladies, I want to say thank you for joining me tonight. It was so awesome having you on the show. I want to say thanks to the viewers for tuning in. Be sure to check us out at PageantLIVE.com. Also, check out thefashionhero.com, an upcoming television show looking for real men and women between 16 and 40 to be models. Pageant Live is very excited to be sending several of our former guests on to do some taping, pre-show taping in just a few weeks in Mexico. So we are definitely looking forward to that. Also, next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, please tune in to Ask the Crown. Gabriella Eastler will be joining me, Miss Universe Live. So be sure to join us for that. Also, check out Kyle Haggerty, phenomenal pageant coach, at weproducewinners.com. You can get a copy of his latest book. Thanks again, ladies. Thanks, everyone. And until next week, be sure to shine bright like a diamond. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.